don't think his real name, I don't think his mom named him 50 either.
All right. Welcome and thank you for listening to the Davis Download. We got a few topics for you today. The first one is about Forrest Frank's rejection of the award. So one more time, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. What do you think?
Stupid. Why reject an award?
Why do you not agree with his rejection of it?
What is the benefit of not accepting the award?
Again, I think he has complete autonomy to choose not to be there. And his point that God should get the glory, that makes a lot of sense to me.
So if he goes and wins an award, God doesn't get the glory? He doesn't get to go up on stage, get a speech, and point more people towards Jesus instead of just not showing up?
Well, again, if he's going up there and recognizing himself as like, this was my accomplishments, this is what I've done, a trophy is just that. What have you done? What have you accomplished? If he does that, then again, you're taking away from the glory of God.
So trophy's bad.
Not inherently bad, but
So why would you not want to accept the trophy? More trophy you get in front of an audience to be able to let them know about Jesus, right? Make his name known. You get a bigger platform, right? Isn't that what we're all trying to accomplish? Have a platform in order to share the gospel. Well, with success comes a larger platform. Now you could say that that's fair, that's unfair. That's just the world, right? Like if a billionaire could give you advice on how to make money, or a homeless guy could give you the same exact advice how to make money, you're not going to listen. Like you're going to listen to the person who's had proven success.
That's like going to extremes.
You're getting a bigger.
That's going to extremes. The homeless man giving you advice on finance is not the same.
Why not? Because that person's platform, they're giving the same advice, the same message, the same ideas, but because someone has a bigger platform, because someone has gained more respect, their message is going to get out and go further. So don't we want the gospel going further? So go win the award and then get up on stage and Tim Tebow that thing up and John 3:16 that mug and make it go viral.
To your point here, I think it's gained more notoriety, more recognition online because he wouldn't go and he was willing to point people to Jesus through his social media page. And I think it's actually gotten the message out even further because he rejected it.
Fair point. Does Jesus get more recognition, or now do more people know Forrest Frank's name? Because I would argue that more people now are aware of Forrest Frank. So his whole idea kind of he is self-defeating.
By that logic,
he played himself.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't bow down. Are they getting the glory, or is it God?
They certainly do, I don't think recognition is bad. So then why is he accepting money for it?
He already had recognition.
So then why accept money? So then he shouldn't make money off of any of his albums. It should just all go.
So
that's what Jelly Roll's saying.
Or he should just do it for free. Because if he's truly doing it for the sole glory of God, why become a millionaire off of it?
If you listen to him, he said that for the longest time he refused to join Christian artists because he felt convicted about this, and he really questioned whether he should come out as a Christian artist. And he's made that transition, he said, because he felt like God gave him this gift, God gave him these skills and abilities to be able to share with other people.
Exactly.
And then with the resources that he's able to make from it, he can then certainly steer that money to where he wants it to go.
Yeah, but
so here's the other point too, though. So like if he's using a biblical point as to why he shouldn't do it, the Bible does say a worker is worthy of his hire. So he deserves the work that he did. He deserves to make a profit if he did the work behind creating the music and all that. Yes, that's he did the work. He should do that. But what he's saying is, I don't deserve the glory of it all.
I mean, that's fine, but I don't know. I mean, so are we not allowed to take any pride then in what we do if we're successful? Like, I don't know. So then should a basketball coach
So you think he doesn't take any pride in what he does? His artistry?
I don't know. Why not accept an award?
He certainly takes pride in his work. You can't have the excellence that he has achieved without taking pride in your work and really fine-tuning it, no pun intended there, but just really, hours and hours upon practice, and nobody's that high up, that skilled without doing a lot of work and a lot of obsession over the details.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think it was a little bit extra. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I mean, his name certainly is more well known because he turned. It is. That's a fact.
Hey, wait, hear me out.
Maybe I'm not. I can't judge his heart. But I do know more people know the name Forrest Frank because he did not take the award.
But it wasn't
fact or fiction.
It wasn't because of that, because you could not scroll on TikTok, Instagram, any of these things without hearing one of his songs. My 4-year-old knows who he is. Why? Because his music is popular.
Oh, so a guy who puts Christian music on social media didn't find a Christian music guy in his algorithm.
Again, so I'm just saying the point that my 4-year-old son is.
Look at your algorithm. Yeah, he's a good musician, so he should be able to take an award.
Here's how Isaiah learned about this guy. It was his 3rd grade cousin that showed him it. So it's not like it was me that like, hey, this guy's amazing, this guy's cool. Like he was already little 2nd and 3rd graders are doing his little dance on TikTok.
Yeah. So I don't understand, but even still, right? If we just probably look at soul numbers, right? Because I don't know how else you define if he was. More people know about Forrest Frank today than they did whenever this thing came out. What was it, a week ago or so?
I think we're splitting hairs. I think he's already ridiculously famous. I mean, they're calling it the Christian dance on TikTok and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
didn't make him famous. It just didn't put him over the top.
But it certainly helped. It certainly made him more mainstream. It certainly made him more mainstream.
No way.
Yes,
he was there. He's at the top.
I don't know if he was at the top.
Here's how you know he was at the top. The fact that he was up for nomination for all of these awards,
and he
was at the top.
Well, or it just means he's the only good Christian musician now. That's also what that could mean.
That
may be a
Give my man Chris some respect.
Well, LeBron James is getting close to the end. Chris Tomlin is also getting close to the end. LeBron's not winning the MVP.
Hey, Chris Tomlin, if you're listening. No, I'm joking.
Hey, that's fine. Go play a song, but don't win an award, because that would be.
And so here's your point that I wanted to focus in on. You said that you can't judge Forrest Frank's heart with this.
Yeah.
And I think with that's kind of what the Apostle Paul talks about, is like each person has to kind of make their own decision and conviction on these things as they're led by the Spirit of God. And I think these things are left up to discretion, and we may feel passionate about it on each side, but at the end of the day, each person has to be led by the Spirit, because there isn't necessarily a law in the Bible that tells us whether or not we can take a trophy, like you said. Is the trophy sinful? Not necessarily, to have it on his, on his mural, on his wall, or whatever like that. But it's the personal conviction, and that's what really shocks me, is that even within the Christian community, when you see this online, you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe people are so passionately against him taking this stance, which was supposed to be an act of humility, and has been perverted into this, all these different attacks on his character and who he is as a person. Everything, for me, he seems very solid, seems very biblically based. I think he's doing great things, like was said earlier, with just how he's reaching a younger generation, and that they're being impacted in these significant ways. And I was very impressed. I think it truly is an act from the heart. And I'm willing to give him that freedom to do that.
Yeah. And I don't disagree. I actually like him. I think he's a talented musician.
Yeah, very skilled.
The song's obviously very catchy.
Yeah.
And everything I heard, all the interviews and stuff I've seen him up to this point, like I guess I should be more clear. I'm not necessarily judging him specifically. It's that idea overall, because I think there's a lot of fake humility in the world nowadays.
That's fair.
I think, and so it's just tough where it's like, because there was certainly he was certainly well known. Like, he wasn't in obscurity, right? It wasn't just 10 people listening to a song. I don't know if he was. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a huge music guy. I'm a podcast guy. So I don't know where he was charting, like, in comparison to, like, I don't know. Is he close to Taylor Swift? Is that a whole other? Well, obviously it's a whole other stratosphere, but like, whatever. Like, but he's more well known now. He gets into it with Jelly Roll, who's maybe one of the famous, and maybe that went well. And so I'm not necessarily judging him. It's more of the idea. I think he could have taken the award and, made it all about Jesus, right? I was actually just scrolling in the Tim Tebow the day he somehow beat the Steelers in some game. It was like John 3:16 went bazooka crazy, and it was cool. But so I think then him getting that platform, being able to get up, I would assume that it was the CMAs, right? Is that the I would assume that that's televised on one of the major broadcast channels. So he could have had the opportunity to go up there, and even if it was 30 seconds and he gets played off, he could have gone up there and given a gospel message to millions of people. But what I do know, again, I understand, and if he truly did have the right and he did feel convicted, I guess I can't really argue with that. But I don't know. I just look at, he made that decision, and I look at kind of what came out of the decision, and it does look like he gained a lot for making his decision.
Yeah, again, I say, to Josh's point, though, his decision to not do it made a more lasting effect than him going up there and giving a speech. Had he just gone up and said, hey, this is who I am, this is what I've accomplished.
Nobody would have watched it.
Yeah, that would have been the end.
But the people were, like, you think people would have turned off when they saw him get up there?
Nobody would have watched it because nobody watches award shows.
Fair. But I mean, obviously they don't do the numbies that they did back in the day, but I'm sure there's still a good amount, like, it's still regular cable television. Our viewers down, I'm sure, but you could have had, let's say 1 million people were watching CMAs, but I don't think it's crazy, especially with Taylor Swift's album came out, so like I'm sure a bunch of the Swifties, I'm sure the Swifties could use a little Jesus, but so I'm just saying he could have done that. I'm just looking at, again, I'm not skeptical of him. If he truly felt convicted, he felt like me going up and taking this award would be taking the glory from God, fine, whatever. I'm just looking at it just strictly from a, like, his name, it's circulated more, his name is more known. Again, Jelly Roll's probably a top 10 musician nowadays, so now he's palling around with upper music. Again, that's all.
My thing, this is why I agree with him so much. Because one, it is so rare to see someone have a conviction and stand on it. Yeah. No matter what happens. Again, like you said, Jelly Roll came from him, and he's still like, no, this is where I'm at, and this is my conviction.
Fair.
You have so many quote unquote Christian artists and politicians and whoever, they come out, they have the strong start, and then the first sign of resistance, they buckle. Mm-hmm. But his tenacity, him just standing up for what he believed in, I applaud that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately, it can only be a question of his heart. No, I'm just questioning the move again. I think he could have got up there and done a lot more and had another, he could have, like that clip of him sharing his testimony, because I think he just came over, like, he had a crazy story with his broken back or something like that, too. So, like, he could have had, for, lack of a better way to put it, he could have had a viral moment up on stage, because people tend to like genuine, like kind of what we're talking about. People like genuine. So if he would have gotten up there and just given a genuine testimony, I have a feeling that would have resonated with people, and I have a feeling that would have went viral. And if his heart was truly to glorify and honor God, I think God would have taken that acceptance speech and him being on CBS or ABC or whatever it was, and could have used that. Now, again, can he also use this? Sure, but I don't know. I guess time will tell. I just think he had an opportunity to get in front of a bunch of people and give a gospel message, and I don't know. I just think that, again, as he would say, whose boy is better, but I don't know. I just, again, it's nothing against him. I'm skeptical. I mean, you see, like, pastors driving around with fancy cars and got 10-story mansions. It's easy to be skeptical. It's easy to be skeptical in today's world, I think.
But I think that look of like, hey, this pastor has all this. For every one pastor that is rolling around in a Rolls Royce, you have 90 that are day in, day out grinding.
Sure, but I only see one. Yeah, sure. I'm not saying I'm obviously not saying the profession is, but it raises your. I think it raises skeptic. I think it's.
The argument of wealth baffles me too with those in ministry. You take Forrest Frank here, for example, as a wealthy musician and as a successful person. Again, as we talked about earlier, he's worked at his craft for many years. This didn't happen overnight. But whether it be in ministry or some type of service, whatever it is to the community, it just baffles me how people critique that, especially Christians, and they say, well, you can't have any wealth, you can't have any money, because you look in Scripture, Abraham was known as one of the wealthiest men on planet Earth at the time. Job was known as one of the wealthiest men on planet Earth at the time. And so it's just like, why wouldn't we as Christians think that God would bless us when we follow his will and his way. Now, is that a prosperity gospel? Of course not. We don't believe that, but we do believe that there are rules to God's universe, and that when we follow them, that we can be successful.
Yeah,
we can earn money and we can make a living.
To that point too, and I think here's where Corey's going to disagree with me, but money management and things like that are really good, right? Setting up principles and patterns in your life where maybe you say, hey, I can't afford X or Y this week, and therefore I can be a little bit more rich. Shout out to my man Dave Ramsey holding it down. Giving us... Corey, what's your beef with Big Ramsey?
You talk about fake. You be doing too much. I'm gonna eat a half a Subway sandwich. If that means I die broke, I die broke. It's gonna be a football, and we're getting cookies. It's just happening.
I agree. There's
okay, if I have to work
Subway cookies
if I gotta work an extra 2 weeks, like fine, dude. Okay, I get retired at 63. Plus, I'm not traveling the world when I'm 70. I'm 70. Like, what? Might as well just go to work. But so, and I agree. I'm not saying you can't be wealthy if you work in ministry. I think. I mean, there's, I don't know.
So even Forrest Frank, why can't he be wealthy?
I'm not arguing. I'm arguing to go be extra wealthy and go with, I'm kind of arguing myself here because I'm telling Forrest Frank, go win the award and go have a bigger career. Go double platinum. Go Taylor versus Forrest.
But if that means you have to buckle on your convictions.
But you don't, again, that's where it comes back to if this was truly his conviction, I get it, but I don't know. I guess I just don't know why. Because I look at, maybe I just come from sports, right? So if I'm a basketball coach, right, and when my team is winning, right, when we're having success, guess what my players do more often? They listen, right? My message carries more weight when we're 5-0 as opposed to 0-5 because we've had both. Lord knows. When I'm 0-5 and you got to try to motivate kids to defensive slide and rebound and box out, it's a lot harder. But when I'm having success, or if I come into a job and I've won 3 championships, when I go to a coach's clinic and get, not that I've ever done this, right? If I go to, I'm not like that, but if I go to a coach's clinic and I've got 3 championships on my resume, everyone's got their notepad out. If I'm just some podunk little random assistant coach in the middle of Boonesville, wherever, I would say my message won't carry as far.
I hear that, but I'd say the amount that he has sold in terms of records and the amount that his popularity was there, he's already proved himself. He's already proved that yes, I'm solid in this. So he doesn't need the award. He doesn't need to recognize.
I think we're arguing too different. I don't think he needs to take the award. I think it was an opportunity to go share the gospel. That is it was an opportunity to go and share your faith and go and share your testimony and go be like, I'm only here because God had given, and like truly mean it. We know all those people go up and I would just like to thank God as they're like clearly inebriated by whatever substances they're going on. And they just want to thank God and blah, 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 blah and all that. But you can tell when someone goes up there and they're genuinely like.
So you're just of the philosophy, use the platform.
Yes.
Maximize the platform.
That's the point of the platform.
Use the platform to the fullest extent that you can.
Yeah. Isn't that the point?
Take advantage of it.
Wouldn't that be the point?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And that's where I'm kind of in the middle of it and just saying, let each person's conviction decide that for themselves, again, as they're led by the Spirit through that process.
I guess.
I see the perspective as well, the practical point that, look, you're getting a massive audience. You're extremely popular. Therefore, use that to the fullest. And every chance you get a microphone in front of your face, you need to go tell people about Jesus. And then I see as well, Forrest's take on it, where he's just like, look, I have a conviction that I shouldn't be taking awards except from anybody except Jesus.
So I guess my other question with that would be like, I guess where would the line, or where exactly does that, again, not for him, I'm trying to speak in general, not, again, I think I'm not like questioning his relationship with Jesus or anything. It's more so just this idea of a Christian, because I think this is the same, like, whatever, right? So where does that conviction, I guess, come from of the idea, don't take it, like, where does that kind of idea come? Like, obviously Jesus gives us our awards in heaven and all. Is that kind of where he's basing it off of? Like, I'd be curious to be like, what exactly is he basing this idea? Is it just like a humility thing?
Yeah, I have not heard him say anything on that point, but I think, the idea of not storing your riches here on this earth. And he made the point to Jelly Roll that, hey, you don't know how much of this I'm giving back. Mm-hmm. So is he where is he allowing his riches to be? Where is the accolades going to be? Is it going to be here in front of man, or is it going to be before the Father in heaven?
It could also be like a way to protect himself, because we see a lot of these artists when they do get successful that they let it go to their heads, and maybe it's just like a step of protection where he knows this is a dangerous situation where pride could step in because of the popularity. I mean, I just checked his Spotify; he's getting 8 to 9 million Spotify listeners.
I get, but that's the thing. Like, he already has the award. Like, he already has everything that would make him do that. Like, I don't see this. I don't even know what the names of the awards were that he's not taken. But like, I guess I just don't see how, if he's already gotten all, and he's already won the award. Maybe, so like, I guess maybe my thing is, if it was really, and again, I don't know how these things work. Clearly, I'm not getting nominated for any CMAs anytime soon, right? But I would assume that there was some sort of nomination process. Why not have stopped it back 3 months ago and said, I don't even want to be nominated for this award? And then it could have been.
That's assuming that the nomination process is something that they called and checked.
I mean, do you think he was surprised that he was nominated?
Probably not surprised, but you can be nominated for anything.
But why not? Why not step back after he got nominated? And be like, I don't even want to be considered for awards. I actually probably would have been a bigger fan of that than me like, hey, I already won the award, but I don't want it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It was before he won the award, because this was all before he got before the award show.
So did he say no? I'm not taking this before he won the award.
He declined before the show.
Well, that's he just assumed he was going to win. What are we talking about here? Then he just assumed, hey, I'm going to win this award. I'm not coming.
They take all the nominees, and then they list your nominees, and then they say, okay, out of these 4, this is who won. They do the grand reveal.
Yeah. So he got nominated, because all these nominations happened before the actual award show, at least 3 months, I think. At least that's what they do for the whatever one the TV one is called, right? They come out, and then the award shows later. Same thing with the Oscars and all that, right? So why not just be like, hey, I appreciate it. I don't want to be considered for nomination. I actually would have probably been more okay with that, because A, it would have been quieter. B, nobody probably would have realized it, especially because, again, it's a category that he was probably competing against himself in most of the categories.
Here's the other part of it, I think, too. So these shows, and I'm not trying to bash anybody, but these shows, their biggest thing is monetary profit, right? They're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. He's not
obviously.
That. So what's to say that they were going to take him off anyway? What's to say he didn't already tell them, like, hey, I don't want to be in the show. And
but then that's fine.
He's at the top of the charts. They're still going to put him there.
So why not just not show up? Like, why did it have to be? I guess my other question is, why is it a spectacle?
So this is what I'm saying, though. A public problem, you have to meet it publicly.
But we just talked about it's not a public problem, because nobody was going to watch anyway.
So here's my point, though. This is what I'm saying. If their concern is making the most amount of money, and they're saying Forrest Frank is one of the top artists, we're gonna put him on regardless, and him coming out and saying, okay, they're gonna put me on regardless, but regardless, I'm not accepting it. So I think that is a little bit more.
I guess I don't know. I also don't. And again, I guess to a degree, it's probably out of his control. It's just because I think we could all agree it was more so a humility thing for the most part, right? He was trying. It was in some way, shape, or form, we could boil it down to it. I'm sure other things went into it or whatever. I just have a hard time being like, hey, my act of humility is gonna get me notoriety and fame, and so I'm gonna do this act of humility, but I'm gonna end up popping off.
Maybe
because he certainly did. Because if he goes and accepts this award, guess who we're not talking about? All 12 of us.
But maybe he didn't think. Maybe he didn't think he was gonna get the blowback that he did. I'd say no, and it's over. Maybe that's his thought process. You're assuming that he's thinking, I'm gonna say no, and every TV personality is gonna want to ask me why. That's a bold assumption.
I don't.
Especially to think that Jelly Roll is going to comment on it and critique his.
Yeah, but Jelly Roll's been getting into the faith a little bit, though. He's brought up Jesus a fair chunk.
That's what I was going to ask. I don't even
where does he stand theologically? Who knows? But he's definitely.
I think he's a new convert. And
he's early in the road, and wherever he's at, he's early on in the process.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too. And again, this isn't against Jelly Roll. So if you love Jelly Roll, I'm not saying that. But a baby in the faith, right, trying to ordain what someone else that has been in the faith for a while is going to do. That's like, well, calm down. Let's walk the road a little bit before you tell me how to handle these situations.
Well, I also think it's fair. We can call each other out, and again, like you said, he made it public. So I'm sure Jelly Roll was probably prodded in some way, shape, or form. Hey, you've mentioned Jesus. What do you think about this guy?
I think it was more forward than that. It was definitely more of a critique. His follow-up. And
but
I thought Forrest was very gracious in his response to Jelly Roll. He said, "I've offered to call the guy." I think he said they talked on the phone or something like that.
I think I did hear that.
So instead of, again, this stuff just drives me crazy. Just like publicly trying to shame people or expose people.
Well, that's again that kind of
he wasn't doing anything.
Part of my problem with the way he did it, because now articles are written about him. Now
he wasn't trying. He was going straight to his fans. And then Jelly Roll jumps in.
I
hear. What do you have to do with
I hear that.
This is where I say Jelly Roll, sit out of it. This is not your fight. It's not
That's
your fight.
fine, but once
Jelly Roll needs to roll out.
That's fine. But again, he helped to gain more steam, which I guess maybe is a good thing, because now more people maybe are going to talk about Jesus and what Christians should do and all that. I don't know. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's bad. I don't know. But it kind of all goes back. I don't think you could say Jelly Roll stay out of it when Forrest Frank makes it public. And he's on Fox.
Yes,
I read about on Fox News. So don't tell me you're trying to stay low key and go on Fox
News.
Here's
the difference. Though.
This isn't aired on Fox News.
Here's the difference. It might be, but here's the thing. He was making a post to his fans, people that were expecting him to be.
How many followers does he have?
I just told
You can't exactly. So you can't be like, oh, I'm trying to keep this low key.
No, that's not
when
what
you
I
post
said.
to a million people,
No.
you understand that that's going to go.
Corey, hold on. That's not what I said. I said he made his point to his fans. So whether that's 5 or 5 million, he made his post. I am not going, to the people that might be disappointed in him not going. Jelly Rolls was more of a like, hey, everybody and anybody, look what I got to say.
But the whole point is, if Forrest Frank didn't make it public, Jelly Roll would have never made it public either. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know, for me, especially if Jelly Roll is a baby in the faith, right? He's trying to learn. So Jelly Roll probably took, well, if this guy's talking about Christianity out in public and posting about what he thinks about all this, then right?
Here's the back and forth, and maybe this provides clarity. There's a video with it too, but here's what Forrest posted. Had a lot of people asking where I was today, so I felt like I needed to share on here. To Eli's point. No, this is not a refusal to be a light in dark places. This is a refusal to go on stage and get awards. I already got the greatest award of all time, referring to his salvation. Hope you all can understand. Love you guys. And then Jelly Roll responded and said, he said, wow, your true colors are really showing through with that commitment. Oh, sorry, that was a user. Anyways, I'll look for what Jelly Roll said, but it's. I
mean, when you post to, and again, and Forrest should understand this, when you've got that many followers, anything's liable, able to go viral.
Yes.
So I just go back to, he may have had the right intentions. I'm trying to talk about the act in general. When someone says, I'm going to do something, I'm trying to be humble, I'm trying to, have humility and do that, but yet that humility makes you a giant topic of conversation.
Mm-hmm. So can you ever make a public statement and be humble about it?
You can make a statement humbly.
So you're saying because it was public, it wasn't?
Jesus taught to crowds of thousands.
Yeah. My point is not, I guess I'm more arguing, I don't think we could really be mad at Jelly Roll for taking it to the streets, because he took it to the streets.
This is what Jelly Roll said. This is an interesting take. I dig it. How do you think this compares as profiting from the same music? I love that you said, I don't want to get a trophy for something that's from Jesus, for Jesus, which is awesome, but also make millions of dollars doing that same thing that is from Jesus, for Jesus.
I think that's, I don't think that's crazy. That's not a fair, again, you can't read, that's a crazy question, you think? That's unfair?
Because here's what I'm saying, though. This is why it's not the same. It's comparing apples and oranges.
I'm not saying, but it's a fair question to be like, hey, you're not gonna accept this award, but you will accept money for the same thing.
Here's the other thing.
Before you make this point, sorry, just for clarity, it was the GMA Dove Awards, not the Country Music Awards. There's GMA for the Christian thing.
So yes.
So this was a Christian award show? Oh, come on now. That's a wrap, dude. Come on, that's a wrap.
So
Stop.
Even more so.
Stop. No, more. He's going to a Christian award show. What are we doing?
So here's the thing.
Come on, stop. No.
So,
Forrest, you missed it for the trees, guy. You missed it for the trees, dude. Come on. He didn't go to a Christian. So if your church was going to honor you for something, come on.
I'll be honest. This is just me.
The fact that it's Christian, you gotta admit, makes it a little bit. Come on.
Here's just me personally. Like, I honestly, like, winning trophies and stuff like that, I don't like it. Like, I hate to.
So he's not. He doesn't like winning. He's not competitive.
No, I didn't say I'm not competitive. I didn't say I'm not competitive.
You just don't like what happens when you win.
No, I'm just saying.
What are we talking about?
I'm just saying.
Given the competitiveness, you see why we started a podcast.
I am competitive, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
don't
going in front of people and accepting, like, it makes me feel weird. I don't like.
That's fine.
Right?
I think that's more just like that's more social anxiety than anything else.
Hear me out.
Because very few people like being in front of people.
What I'm saying is, I don't mind being in front of people. I don't mind talking in front of people. I don't mind doing music in front of people. But like receiving an award, it just makes me feel weird. So most of the time, if I have the option not to go up in front of people, then I won't. Right? Anytime that
the guy sings in front of.
Yes,
the guy
so
does
that's different. That's different though. Like I've had the opportunity to preach in front of people. I had the opportunity to sing in front of people.
Yeah, but that many people.
And not that many. No, it is obviously.
Like that's literally his job
not
to go
listen.
go in front of people.
You're not hearing my point though. I'm saying. It's like being in front of people is different than receiving an award and like, hey, let's look at you and clap and cheer for you.
So do you think he feels weird when people clap after every song at his concert?
I don't think he's feeling weird because that's just they're excited about the song, right? People clap about
after the song ends, they're clapping to say like that was a good job, that's a good song,
or they just
set.
Amp it up. I like.
So
the
you
song.
think he feels weird after every song on
Honestly,
concert?
here's the thing again.
Because that's a lot to feel weird.
Here's the thing: while you're playing music and stuff, people are clapping. If you're going to a new song, you're not thinking about those claps. To be honest, you're thinking about, all right, what key am I going to be in?
Fair, that's fine.
What is this? What is that?
Certainly not performing in front of anybody anytime.
And again, I'm not by no means. By no means am I saying that.
No, I'll take your word there. That's fair. That's his thing.
It's a different feel when
I
agree. When it's
I agree. Feel weird. It does feel weird, like accepting awards and gifts and stuff like that. Sometimes, like I definitely get that.
So
I also think the fact that this is a Christian award, you gotta admit that does kind of make it a little. Come on.
So yes,
it does.
So,
it does a little bit.
I think here's where semantics is being played because it's an award for Christian music, but their profit is not Christ. They're worried about
those people.
Like whoever's running this Christian award shows, their biggest thing is profit.
How do you know that?
No way it's not. No one's putting on $1 million show.
Well, then we just talk about ministry and all that just because they make more money in their ministry.
But is that a ministry?
I mean, if they're able to further people, if they're able to further Christian musicians and Christian artists, and again, like we're talking about, give them a bigger. What?
I'm having a hard time.
It's marketing.
Yes, but their end goal, But now
we're judging people, just like we're judging the pastor in the BMW.
Time out. This is my point. What I'm saying here. If tomorrow they said we lost $100 million on the show, do they do it next year?
I don't know.
Most likely not.
So if a church says, "Hey, we tried this ministry, it didn't work, we lost money, we're just going to cut it,"
but
you would say the same thing.
That's the difference. The church, by and large, if they said, "Hey, this ministry," and I've seen it played out in churches, where like this ministry, we're losing hand over fist.
So we can't do it.
No. They say, but this point is worth following. This ministry is worth doing. There's a lot of ministries that take a lot of money. And it is
to the point of that it harms other parts of the church. You think that's okay to keep it going?
I
think that go back to Dave Ramsey?
So
Dave Ramsey would not be thrilled with that church.
Here's the thing, though. The difference is eternal value, right? If you listen, let me finish. If you have a ministry to the homeless, you're giving way more than you're ever going to get back. But you don't say that ministry is over because we're not making. No, that's not the point.
Really, does a ministry make a profit?
Exactly. So that's the difference. This music, whatever, they're making a profit without a doubt.
So is it wrong to be in ministry and make profit and make money?
Probably the definition of ministry is that you don't make a profit, is that you give more than
exactly.
But didn't we just talk about pastors it being okay and like I feel like we're
No,
contradicting.
no,
Am I
no,
crazy?
Because here's the difference. We're saying it's okay for a pastor to have money, right? If you invest well, if you set up principles, you going to a thrift store to buy your clothes instead of buying it, off the rack at wherever.
So making good and sound financial decisions, you would say, is important, right? Is a good thing, is a biblical.
I think it is. Yes.
So if
But
a
here's the difference. I see where
ministry
you're
was
going.
harming
I see where you're going.
was financially
Why do you say
like
harming? Just
wrong,
because
wrong
it
word, wrong
costs
word.
money doesn't mean it's harming.
I'm not. If it was causing the church to function at a significant deficit.
Okay, let's take missionaries for example. Does the church make any profit off missionaries? No. The
But-
answer to that question is no.
So
Does the church fund those missionaries 100%? Yes, that's a 100% loss of
Okay.
what they bring in is
Okay.
going straight to the
But
missionary.
if they weren't able,
So again, here's the thing. I think you're missing. It's not to a complete run into the ground. There's nothing left.
I guess that's
in the
more
pool.
so what I'm trying to say.
So that's
Like
I
if
don't-
a
I don't
church,
think-
if a ministry was causing the church to be like running into the ground, being in debt.
obviously
That's what I'm
if it causes the doors to close, then you have to say we can't do it.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Obviously,
But-
if that show lost $1 billion, that would harm. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure if it loses $20, they're not gonna be like, well, we can't do this again.
No, but again, I'm saying their main thing is definitely profit. No one puts on a show and says, "Hey, I don't want to make a profit from this." What show in the history of the
So
world?
I feel like Jesus feeding the 5,000 was a show.
I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but a show.
That's a stretch.
I'm talking about a
Yeah, the bread.
What
you mean that's a stretch?
I'm talking about a programmed show that is televised, right? That's what I'm getting at. There is no televised
Because
show.
that ministry, like that, again, I guess the word
Ministry
but
is a stretch
that,
for me.
fine. But that organization,
Okay.
whose goal is, again, and I don't know them from Adam. We didn't even know who they were. I know Dove is the chocolate and the shampoo. So, if they're a Christian organization, right? Obviously, their main focus is Christian musicians and Christian artists. Are they shining a light and furthering the platform of these Christian artists? Yes, because now, again, Forrest Frank and his music is on Fox News, so now more people are going to hear his songs and more people are going to hear his gospels. So just because they don't have Calvary or First Love or church in their name,
and I
covered every church name there, right? So what they can still be doing a good and furthering the kingdom.
I didn't say that it's not a good. I didn't say that what they're doing wasn't, whatever. I'm just saying that it's not a ministry. That's just my point.
I mean, so I get fine semantics, but they could be an organization whose goal is to further the gospel.
Maybe. I don't know who's behind it. I don't know who's behind it.
Neither
But
do I.
I'm just saying.
I'm also just saying.
There's no televised show that I can imagine that their main goal, right now in American culture, that their main goal is Christ proclaimed. Whoever's behind it, more than likely is profit.
And if they lose money on the shows, they'll have to get rid of trophies anyways, and Forrest will be happy to show up because they wouldn't have trophies to hand out.
There we go. I mean, his whole thing, I think, was give glory to the King, which brings me to my next point. No kings protest.
Who cares?
All around the U.S.
Why do we care? People, we care too much about stuff. As I just said, I care too much about something. But why? Who cares?
Who's they?
Everybody. Why are we doing this? There's no kings in America. We took that out when we dumped the tea in the harbor. We took care of kings. And then why do people care that people are having that protest, right? It's again what I talked about last week. Everybody just flips. So now the people are all about, we need to be able to protest. We need to be able to say whatever we want. But now we're saying, why are you doing this? This is dumb. This is stupid. You shouldn't do that.
I don't think the two
why
are,
do we care?
I don't think the two are unrelated, right? You can't say, I think you can say protest is good. This was a waste of time.
You could say it was dumb. I could think the thing you're protesting for is dumb, but who cares?
Yeah, and two things can be true at the same time. You could say, well, it's dumb what you're protesting, but I still believe in your right to protest.
Yeah,
I can still believe in those two things simultaneously.
But why do we freak out about it? Who cares? Okay, fine. People said no kings. We all agree with that. We would all agree that we don't want a king in America.
Obviously, it's critiquing a certain
worldly speaking. Well, the guy did say he would want to run for another. He doesn't. All I'm saying is He doesn't help himself with the words he says.
Yeah, but
he doesn't.
With,
he
with,
doesn't.
With a guy like Trump, you gotta know going in, he does not mean everything he says.
But again, that's fine. But you still are responsible for what you say, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you're
the president of America, you can't. King, according to some of these people, you can be sarcastic and you can be all that. And sure, is he funny? Yeah, right. I think that's probably the one thing everybody can agree with. Like he is kind of funny.
I think that's the point of the No King's Day, is that nobody on the left can understand his humor. I think that's the whole point of it. Is like they think when this guy says, "I'm going to run for the next 60 years or whatever." First of all, the guy is 80 years old.
Yes.
Second of all, he's being sarcastic. The left has lost humor. That is what this whole thing points out. The left has no creativity, no humor.
Well, I mean, they are making all the movies and everything. So I mean, I struggle to say they're not creative.
I think they've lost creativity.
I mean, movies are still pretty good. TV shows are still pretty good. But
you would have to say though, every movie that comes, like if I see another Fast and Furious anything,
they're getting away from that. This past year, there's been a lot of the DiCaprio movie. I haven't seen it, but
and to the Christian's point here, this stuff coming out with Angel Studios, it's gaining more and more popularity.
But they shouldn't want to be in the movie theater because that's. But my
thing, not take the award for it.
So I agree that Trump is sarcastic, and you could say we've lost the ability of humor, but I do think it's both sides. I think the right gets their panties in a wad too a lot whenever the left comes at them or tries to make fun of them too. They're just like, oh, that wasn't funny when it's objectively funny. But
except for Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't know.
He's not funny.
Late night shows are a thing of the past. But what was I saying? So the only thing I will give them, we know that one of the and this is what makes him successful in all of his endeavors. Trump we talk about competition and he wants to win.
Certainly.
So whenever he talks about I'm doing something, I'm going to try to win, I think that is the one time he is not kidding.
Okay.
So like I think he would.
So how does this relate to No King's Day?
He's like when he would run.
When he talks,
bro, come on.
You think it's?
I think
you think it's
that's a stretch,
but it's not crazy. It might be a stretch. No, it's not a complete tear of the hamstring. It might be a grade 1.
The only president in U.S. history to go for unlimited terms, of course, was a Democrat, FDR.
You really don't think if the Republican Party got behind him, Trump wouldn't run again? Come on.
Here's the thing, though.
You can like him, and still say he would definitely run again if it was up to him.
I don't think that would ever.
Again, I'm not saying it would happen, or even if it could happen. If it was up to him, he would.
Okay, if I could, that's such a hypothetical situation.
That's all I'm saying. So when he says stuff like that,
built in to prevent a king from going on.
Yeah, but like we said, all this stuff it changes based on whoever's in power. It's playing a game with a 2-year-old. The rules always change for everybody.
The constitutional restrictions on 2 terms for the presidency changes with time.
I would love to think they don't. I really would, but just look at the world we live in.
An example where
it hasn't happened yet.
But
that doesn't mean it won't happen.
That's part of the whole reason for the No Kings protest, right? They're saying, all these norms are being thrown out and blah blah blah. But really, are they? Like,
I don't know.
What has changed under the Trump administration that wasn't already kind of mushy in the previous however many?
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying when we know at his core he wants to win, right? He still thinks he won 2020. Whatever, fine. That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
All right, but again, the guy and this is why he's been so successful, and why again the small loan of $1 billion he's been able to become $1 billion.
Last time it was $1 million, now it's $1 billion.
Whatever. I'm sure he would change based on the story too. He likes to exaggerate. But I don't know. I just think when he talks about winning and competition and power and himself, very rarely is he joking.
I think, though, when he talks about winning and all that stuff, in part, I think he's talking about who's going to come behind him. Like, we will win kind of thing. Not necessarily 100%.
He doesn't give a finger in the middle about who comes after him.
To that point, I think he does, in the sense that, talking about No King's Day, I think he's going to be the kingmaker, in the sense that he's going to make sure the next person is who he wants it to be and nobody else. He's going to have a lot of weight in this next election of who he puts his support behind, and I think he's going to be the kingmaker, not the king himself.
Yes.
Here's my biggest thing with like when you say who cares, why does it matter? To me, I just see this, and I was watching some of these news clips yesterday on it, and the things that they're like their main points to why they're out there protesting. It's like these are administrative things that more than half the country voted for. So you're gonna go out there and protest and say he's a king because he's doing these things. Well, no, he's an elected official who won the seat.
Precisely.
So he has the right to do
Yes, yeah, I'm not arguing with what he does while he's in office.
So, but that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Who cares? Well, they're literally protesting, not so much, I think, against Trump, but against what this last election, for better or for worse, but the last election, what the most people in the country voted for.
Yeah.
So they're protesting against that.
Yeah, that's fine. They're allowed to do that.
They're certainly allowed to do it, but again, we can still critique it and follow
Yeah,
up and
sure.
say,
But why?
and use our freedom of speech and say,
Yeah.
look, you people, the stuff that you're protesting against, like making sure that we have safe communities, making sure that we have a sealed border, these things are good for us as a community and as a country, and they're beneficial. I think, honestly, when you ask these people, when you see on the news, them ask these people what they protest, most of them cannot articulate what they believe they are protesting. They certainly aren't necessarily organized in the sense of, oh, we're behind this, we have this conviction as a unified group.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all these random theories and made up.
Yeah, but that also, but there's people on
This
both
is-
sides like that.
It
Certainly.
is. And here's the other thing.
So that's all I'm saying. I mean, like, fine.
The other thing with it that
They
I
look
think,
stupid. Let the other side look stupid.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Like,
That's-
let them look stupid. Don't
I
even
agree.
comment.
I agree with
Just
that.
be like, hey, they did this.
here's the
Give
thing.
them an extra microphone. Give them Forrest Frank's microphone
Here's the thing.
And
that I
his
think-
trophy.
and his trophy. Fine. They participated.
I think though, here's why I think it's such a big deal though. Again, to the point that essentially at heart what they're protesting is the will of the people. And when you start protesting against that, that's a problem.
That's anarchy.
Yeah, then you've lost everything.
Yeah.
And not to mention, so again, I'm watching all these things and it's like 5 million people are gonna show up. Well, here's the thing, 5 million people protesting anything, that's a lot of people, without a doubt. But 75 million people voted for Kamala Harris. So that's a small fraction of the. So in a sense, all you're doing is your party, one side is going out to argue that they didn't like the results. So back to what you were saying about 2020, Trump
that
argued.
happened. Yeah, that happened 4 years ago.
Yes, but it wasn't a 5 million man march.
I'm sure there was probably.
There was.
I mean, and his followers certainly made their feelings felt on that day in January. I mean, let's not act like they were just like, all right, guys, we lost. Let's go. I mean.
No, yeah, I again, yeah, to that point, you're right. There were some people that were upset, and there were some people that,
And that's my whole point. Whatever side you're on, they all do the same things,
but
just in the opposite. So when one side's winning, they do this. When one side's losing, they do this. Then when it flips, they just do the same thing.
But here's the thing, though.
So,
I
like,
think
it's-
back to 2020, right? You had whatever January 6th, whatever, right? But this year, I'm saying.
Whatever.
No, just to make a point, point. This year, you had No Kings protests in June.
Whatever.
No Kings protests in October.
If anything,
No
they're
Kings
more
protests
consistent.
already scheduled for January. Are they going to do this every 3 months for the next 4?
They're consistent.
That's
At least they care.
ridiculous.
Isn't
That's
that the point of
ridiculous.
protest? To get your point. Like, I think could we all? I think we probably all agree that
Here's-
like a literal protest where you stand outside something is probably a waste of everybody's time.
If the point of your protest is to usurp the will of the people every 3 months, go sit down.
Yeah.
I think you've done something wrong.
And the ironic part of it as well is that when Christians and Catholics have protested outside of Planned Parenthood places or abortion centers, and they do it in prayer, the ironic thing is that the Biden administration, of course, wants to throw the entire force of the judicial branch at them and wants to put them in all these type of lawfare fights. And that's the irony of it is, as you're stating here, the right, when these people protest, we critique it. We attack the ideas that they have, right? Whereas when the right protests and organizes and has rallies, of course, the left wants to attack the individual because they think, for whatever reason, that praying outside of abortion clinics is apparently this grave evil that cannot be performed or permitted in a free country, which is bizarre to me.
I mean, you literally had grandmas going to jail.
Yeah.
They were throwing people away.
Yeah.
So I think, again, back to the beginning of this, like, why does it matter? No one cares, but I think you should care. If a sizable part of your country, what is that, like 9% of the left is willing to go out and scream and shout from the rooftops that they didn't win, that's scary. That's scary, I think.
Yeah, it shows the sickness of the country.
Yeah, but
And I would be saying the same thing on the reverse. If we had the right going out every 3 months, if whoever wins on the left, right, if they did, and every 3 months you had people going out, a small minority, and again, 5 million is a small minority of the people that voted for Kamala, that I would be saying the same thing.
Yeah. Even Trump still bringing up the 2020 loss, I think I have issues with, in the sense that Trump, whatever his discrepancies were with, Georgia and the other states involved in that, Trump needed to adjust. He needed to pivot. He needed to recognize that the left beat him in certain strategic areas like early voting, in certain strategic areas like doing the ballot harvesting and things of that nature. He was unwilling to recognize that. Fortunately, his staff and his administration around him was willing to recognize that and make the pivot for the most recent election in 2024. But I think either party, you look back historically, when you look both sides, to Corey's point here, both sides always complaining about the last election being stolen. I mean, this has happened, honestly, for a very long time, honestly, since our second election. So I guess I should say our second president. We had George Washington. He was unanimous, of course, but then after that we had the fight between Adams and Jefferson, and it's been a long-standing issue in this country. For whatever reason, people cannot accept results when it's not the results that they want.
Well, people don't like losing.
Of course.
Except for Forrest, who apparently would rather lose. I don't know. I guess he loves losing. I don't know. But...
Oh, man. Yeah, again, all of this is, some of it is just like, when will we learn? When will we just like...
It's just all political nonsense, and Fox News just needs something to run, and CNN needs something to run.
You're not wrong there. I think a lot of it is clickbait, and it's yellow journalism, and they're trying to stimulate the emotions of the viewers.
Fine, go just tell me the news that actually matters. I really don't think this does.
I think that's the slogan for Fox News: news that matters. Or maybe it used to be.
All right, we're gonna end with this. I think I just came up with this, so on fly. Something like, what is something that you would protest to the death? My thing is, turkey on Thanksgiving has got to go. Like, it is overrated. The bird is dry. I would go outside and protest that every day. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The turkey's got to go. Like, get rid of the turkey on Thanksgiving.
The pickiest eater in the country.
No, I just think it's overhyped.
So you're anti-traditions.
I say get rid of the turkey. Why can't we get something better? Ham is
Why
better.
does it always got to be better? Aren't you just talking about humility and how important that is? Why does it always got to be better?
Yes, because I think my opinion is the best.
All right, Corey, what are you protesting?
I don't know, man. You think I'm getting out there and doing anything?
Here's what I'm protesting. I'm protesting this idea that people's dogs can crap on your lawn. How bizarre is this? Like
I rent, boss.
What's that?
I rent.
You rent. Well, okay, that's fair, and maybe that's the way to do it. But my thing is this: now, because you own a dog, your dog can go anywhere in my yard and can just use the restroom wherever they want, wherever they please.
A civilized person is supposed to clean it up.
Some do, some don't.
It is the worst. You take your lawnmower out there and you just go in and then boom, crap.
I mean, look where you're going.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be pooping in my yard.
It's a dog. I don't know what you want it to do.
Go in your yard.
It was walking. What do you want it to do?
Walk in your yard.
What's that guy that zapped his dog?
Hassan Piker.
Yeah. I'm not
Christy
saying I know.
She zapped her dog.
That's what I'm saying. It's the right and the left. The right love going out of Hassan. That Christy Nome thing got buried quicker than the dog.
Yes, if your dog craps on Christy Nome's yard, I would really be concerned. I would make sure to run after that.
Where's she from? Nebraska?
Alaska?
I have no clue.
Or no,
That's Sarah Palin.
Yeah, sorry. South Dakota.
Didn't Sarah Palin do something stupid with an animal too?
It was Sarah Palin. So,
I don't know.
all right. We're gonna end with this. I think I just came up with this. So on fly. Something like, what is something that you would protest to the death? My thing is, turkey on Thanksgiving has got to go.
What did she do?
Wait,
I'm just saying, like,
Can
she
you
was
flesh
like,
that
right.
I was about to say, can you flesh that out for me? I don't know. This economy stuff's too expensive, dude. What happened to the dollar menu at McDonald's?
You're
That's
protesting
your protest.
grocery prices.
There ain't no more dollar menu. I mean, gotta eat ground turkey and rice. I can't get ground beef anymore.
I gotta be honest, I don't think I would eat off a dollar menu today. What is that you're selling for $1? There is no way a chicken patty costs $1.
Because the economy, firstly, the chicken patties cost like 2 cents.
I'm not eating a $1 chicken patty.
You never
Call
had
me-
the dollar
call
menu
me
from a
bougie. I'm
fast
not
food
saying
restaurant?
I'm not
You've
saying
never
I
had
did
the
it.
dollar menu?
I'm not saying I did it. I'm not
Dave
saying I did
Ramsey
it.
is
I'm just
so
saying
upset.
I'm
Dave
just
Ramsey
telling you.
is so upset.
I'd rather go home and make my rice and beans.
He's rolling in his
than eat
mansion.
For the record, Dave Ramsey, you're my dog.
Dave.
Corey.
Call into this show. I'll tell you a piece of my mind.
Corey, the man has millions of dollars.
Yeah, but like he's such a grifter, dude. He's such a grifter.
How so?
He acts like he's this money genius where
He
he's
is.
like
He has
he
millions
gets
of
a bunch
dollars.
of people call it because people pay him to be like, hey, dude, I've got like $100,000 in debt. And what does he say? Pay off the debt. Whoa, Dave, thanks, bud.
One.
Oh, spend less money and pay off debt? Wow, Dave, I never thought of that.
Not that I am the apologist for Dave Ramsey, but here's the thing: those calls are free. These people call in free.
He makes it a show.
And why do you think people are paying him for his money advice?
Because he's telling them basic, like he's grifting off of basic common knowledge.
Common knowledge that people don't do. That's like
Exactly.
going to a gym and saying, man,
That's
these
more,
people don't need to come to the gym to learn how to do
That's
sit-ups.
more of a, firstly, sit-ups will only get you so far. You need to progress it over a little bit. Whatever.
Look, let me stop.
You know I'm correct. You know I am legitimately correct. Plus, the gym offers a sense of community and relationship.
But all I'm saying is the trainer
like a
at a
personal
gym.
trainer,
The
yeah.
trainer at a gym, he's gonna tell you to do this, lift this, do that. You
I
don't
think
so?
personal trainers are grifters too. I'm not.
Dave
People are
Ramsey and the
stupid.
trainers.
People are dumb because firstly, half the trainers you get are bad. Anyway.
Except
That's
for our audience.
That's a different conversation. I mean, if they're a trainer and they subscribe to any Dave Ramsey stuff, I don't know.
Hey.
Wow.
But people not understanding debt and how money works, that's more of a failing on the education
I
system
agree
in
with
this
that.
country as
I
well.
agree with that.
Like we tell 18-year-olds you have to go to college,
I
and
agree with
then
that.
college keeps going
And
up.
that's
What are they
Dave's-
supposed to do?
That's Dave's point. And to be honest with you, our education system, public education system, is a hot mess. But I think financial education should begin as early as probably the 3rd grade.
I agree.
To think of how significant money is in the rest of your life and how significant of a role it plays in the rest of your life.
Huge.
To think that we only, like, at most, I think some kids are taking one course on financial literacy.
If they're lucky.
It should definitely begin very early on, understanding the fundamentals of the significance of money, how it plays a role, how to manage debt. All of these things are so important, and that's what Dave does. He offers a curriculum, and so that's why I'm such a huge fan. He does a great job.
I would say it helps with all that and generationally so. So like, I didn't grow up with like money management and all that stuff, but Isaiah, my 4-year-old, knows every time he earns anything, I say, what do you got to do? He says, save, give, spend.
Amen.
And he knows it. He's 4, right?
Good for him.
Why? My man, Dave Ramsey.
So you needed Dave Ramsey to teach you that?
Yeah, he simplifies things. Dave Ramsey gives you the structure and he simplifies things for you. And like Eli said, there's only 3 things you can do with money. And you can do it, those things branch off in many different ways of what that looks like. But he simplifies things, he gives you a path, he gives you a direction, and like he says, he gives you the baby steps.
I would venture to say my 4-year-old is better than a lot of people with their money.
That's fine. That's
And
fine.
in part because of what I learned and what I passed down to him.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, I tried to end here with something light, but Corey took it sideways. But thank you for listening to the Davis
That was your
Download.
fault.
Tune in next week.
Talk about the dollar menu being bougie. What are we talking about?
Oh, that was great. Great television. Yes, send me the video and I will clip it up this week.
I finally figured out Twitter. That'll be the slowest one that grows.
Did you